Mhm. Uh,
Hello everyone, a warm welcome to all of you. So as we can see that our topic for today's webinar is using News API in React and building an application. So the main outcome from this session is knowledge about what is React, creating the first application, designing, implementing and testing your application and tackling with multiple challenges. There will be a question and answer round. Also, the recordings will be provided to you. So for now, I would like to introduce our trainer, Mr. Aditya Dua. He is a person with an experience of 8.5 years in professional application development. He has been providing the training online, offline, and for corporate self-pay, Pacman, Java, and Selenium. His teaching Mr. Aditya Duwasa. Hello, sir.
Hey, hi Siddhi and Mohammed, how are you? So, am I audible? Is my voice clear? Uh, Bhumika, can you confirm if you're able to hear me? Okay, thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you for the confirmation. I'll just start my screen sharing. Am I audible? Is my voice? Hey guys, let me see if the echo is gone now. Is it better now? Perfect, perfect. Let me get the hosting right. I'll start the screen sharing. Let me see if the echo is gone now. Is it better now? Let me get the hosting.
हेलो हाँ
Guys, is the voice clear now? Any echoes?
Hello, Aditya sir, your voice is not clear.
Yeah,
Am I audible to the
yeah,
rest of you?
yeah. Is the voice clear now? Are you all able to hear me properly?
Yes, yes. Now it's clear.
Perfect. Thank you. So sorry for that break. Generally takes a few minutes to get started. I'll share my screen and you guys will confirm if you are able to see it. So is the whiteboard visible to all of you guys? Yes or no? Since to make this session smoother, let us reply on the chats and I will mute everyone. And if you have any questions, you can reply me on the chat itself. Okay, perfect. Thank you guys for joining out this session on a weekend, and I hope it does add values to your knowledge. Now, this session is more or less, uh, it is inclined towards helping you guys develop a news application. Now, when you develop a news application, the main idea behind the application is to consume some APIs. So, okay, how many of you have worked in React before this? Perfect, bang on. That's very good. And how many of you understand what are APIs? Come on, guys. Yes. How many of you understand what are APIs? Perfect. That's good. That's good. Now, our main aim for learning this entire language or this entire session is to help you guys understand the working of React. And in order to understand the working of React, see, the main application works, or the main application will be working in the way of it will consume the API. So what is an API? To give you an example, there are two systems which are talking to each other. Let's say the news are published on either on the Wall Street Journal, right, or on the Forbes, or any of the news agency for that matter. And we are building our API or our application over here. Now, in order to show the news to the end users, I need to interact with these third-party services. That is where the APIs come into picture. Guys, does this make sense? All of you. Now, see, if I talk about the React Stack is known for its, React Stack is known for its ease, and React is one of the most popular library. Okay, any one of you, why are you willing to learn React? To all those who have joined in today, what is your aim behind learning React? And what is, that you know about React? So first of all, React is a front-end library, right? So what do you mean by front-end library? It is used to develop and design the front ends. Now, when you say that, give me a second. Yeah, when you say it's a front-end library, it is used to design the front end. Now, what do you mean by front end? Something which a user sees. Like when you go to google.com, the UI page that you see is known as the front end. Now, React is very popular language for MERN stack. So what do you mean by MERN stack? How many of you understand what is MERN? How many of you understand what is MERN? Okay, perfect. So MERN stack is a full stack which includes MongoDB, which is a database. It includes Express.js, which is basically a web framework. It includes React, which is the front-end library, and Node, which is a server runtime, right? So this is MERN stack. Now, one of the best parts about the MERN stack is this entire stack is based on JavaScript. So like, like your MongoDB, your Express, your React, your Node, all of these are based on JavaScript. Now, till now, what was happening was, to be a full stack developer, there were a lot of things required. Like, like backend was in, to give an example, backend was in .NET, front end was in Angular, then Java stack, the front end was in HTML, CSS, and JS. Then there was the PHP stack, and so on henceforth. Now, the problem with these stacks were they were very difficult to master. Why? Because you had to be updated in multiple languages, which was a requirement, or which meant that it was difficult for the developers to keep up with it. Hence, there was a requirement to have a stack which is based on one language, like over here, this one, which is based on JavaScript. And on the top of that, it is easier to master and learn. Now, before the MERN stack, one of the popular stack was Mean stack, which gained a lot of attraction. And post that, like with the launching of React, with the launching of React, MERN also, gained popularity. Now, to give you some stats, React right now is the highest star library on GitHub. And by that, I mean, it's a big thing. And why is the React so popular? I'll give you some examples or some reasons. The first reason for popularity of React is, it is based on components. So by components, what happens is you design a component and you reuse the component everywhere. That is one. The next advantage is often the advantage of a virtual DOM, which gains a lot of, which has gained a lot of traction from the developer community. Now, what is virtual DOM? Till now, what was happening was, in case of applications, it was required by me or by the application that on each API call or on every new data requirement, I had to fetch fetch the whole DOM. Now, what is DOM? So the entire HTML part which you see inside the application or on the UI is termed as DOM. Now, even like if you take an example, let's say on the Facebook, if you click a like button, right? Does it make sense to refresh the whole DOM? The answer for that approach is no. Because by having that kind of approach, you are making your application bulky, which is not a very good thing and which is not a very good suggested practice. That led to a requirement to have an internal tree which can maintain my structure. Now, so what happens is, let's say this is my web page. So all these documents or all these parts of the DOMs are managed as a tree. And whenever you update something, the corresponding element is picked up and only this part of the tree is updated, leaving the rest of the application as it is. Does it make sense? So what are the advantages? The payload is reduced, the time to impact is reduced, and hence the performance increases. Anyone having any questions till here now, guys? Yes, guys, don't worry, recording and everything will be shared with you. Don't worry about that. So yes, so Karan, if you have a good experience on .NET full stack, then React is a very good path for you forward. Okay, now on this note, we understood React. See, this is a hands-on example. We will be not be diving deep into the details like what is React, why it is used. So yes, Baptist, that's correct. React is only front end. Yeah. So we will not be covering all those details. We will be majorly covering, or we will be exploring the idea and the understanding of how to develop a full-fledged React application, right? So for that, I will stop my screen sharing and I will be working on a API. So let me go and so guys, do you see my browser right now? Okay, yeah, perfect. So guys, this is my browser and this is the site I will be using to get my or to create my API. Everyone, I've shared the link. You guys can go to this website and visit this thing to get this API key. Now, how this API will look like, I will duplicate this tab for you and I will say back to home. So this is the entire thing. And these are all the endpoints which are available for everything, for top headlines, to get all these sources. And based on the source, you can get all the responses. Now, for example, if I have to get the sources which are available on the website, I will call this API. That is strange. Okay, my bad, I missed it too. So you see now, it gives me the sources. So like the ABC News is a source. So all these sources which are available are listed on this portal or on this API. I will be calling this API to get the list of sources, and based on this, I will be getting the top headlines from all the sources. Guys, does this part make sense? Yeah, this is the output of this JSON, guys. Sorry, my bad. Yeah, this is the output of my JSON. I will say JSON formatter. Let me format this JSON for you. So you see now what I get. So I get the list of all the sources. So what are the lists? So this is ABC News. So these are all the sources which are available on this website, BBC and all of these sources. Now to get this, I have to simply pass this source and I will get the headline for that source. For example, if I have to get the headline from, let's say, Business Insider, I copy this and I say the API key is this one. So it gives me the headlines, the 10 results from the Business Insider page. Guys, is it making sense to all of you now? All of you good with it? Perfect. Now I will stop this part of the screen, jump back to my VS Code where I will be coding the entire application. Guys, can you see my code? I'm starting from very scratch to help you guys understand with the basics. I say open folder and I say downloads, sorry, documents, webinar. So I have opened the webinar page. Okay, yeah. So now I will get started with the terminal. So I'm in the webinar, I say ls. There is nothing in the webinar right now. I say mkdir. I create a new directory. What will I name this directory? Let us name this directory as news app. So you see that the directory is created and I say cd news app. I say npm in it. Okay, before I jump and do this npm in it, I would like to understand, are you guys aware about the npm, or how many of you understand what exactly is npm? Yes, guys, I want to understand how many of you understand what is npm. Yes, npm stands for Node Package Manager, and this, okay. Now think like this, guys. When I'm building an application, I can't write the entire code on my own, right? I will depend on some third-party libraries. A library like a library to interact with the database, a library to maybe read a file, a library to call an API, and all of those stuff. Since I need all these libraries, it makes sense for me, or it is important for me that I use these libraries at a central place. So this is this central place where all the libraries are hosted is termed as npm, or Node Package Manager. Guys, let me remind you, it is just an intro session. So like we have certain limitations on the time also. So we'll try to, be a bit quick and be a bit quick and try to follow along. Okay. So I say I'm giving it the same package, the same version. There is no description. The entry point is this one itself, and no testing command, nothing, and okay. Now I have got a package.json file. So this is how a package.json file looks like. Guys, does it make sense to all of you? Anyone having any questions till here now? Now, this is one way to create an application. Let me take you to another way in which you can create your applications. So I come over here to the webinar and I say a new folder. Let's say news app example, news app 2. I bring it out to the webinar. Okay. Yeah, now I'll close this and I will say CD. I say. Now, there in case of NPM, I had to create everything on my own. But here, if I'm not very aware and I say, no, let React handle this all for you, I can type a command which is npx create React app, and I give it a name like this. So now what will happen is the entire React app will be created on its own. Now, what is the advantage? The advantage is that all the dependencies like React, the React DOM, the React script, which were required or which were mandated to be provided by me, are being handled by the package manager automatically. Anyone having any questions till here now? So two ways to create a project. So one is npm and another is npx. So you see, it is creating the app and it will create everything in a step-by-step manner. Since we are short of time, let it run and let us try to, in the meantime, while this is creating, let me explain about some other library which I will be using. Now, if you guys remember, I was talking about API. So calling an API is a big task. So you have to call the HTTP method. You have to pass the parameters. That parameters is then sent to the server. It then sends the request back to you, and you handle the request. You look for errors, and based on that, you render the UI. The obvious problem with this approach is this method is very tedious, and you can't do it every time. So what we have is, we have a library which I will be using in my current project is a Axios library. What this library will do, this library will ease all these methods and provide me easy interfaces to call all the APIs. Guys, does this part make sense to all of you? Can I move ahead now? Okay. Now, on similar lines, there is another API which I will be using, and that API and that package is another package which I will be using. That package is known as Bootstrap. How many of you know what Bootstrap, guys, is? So Bootstrap is just a way, or it's a design paradigm. It basically talks about the using of the UI or the CSS parts to render the application. Okay, perfect, bang on, that's very good. Now, another API or another package I will be using is the package for my array annotations. I will be using arrays, right? So all these sources are arrays, all these things are arrays, and I have to manipulate them. Why? Because if you recall the UI, I am calling there 10 responses, but in the real time, I will be just showing 1 or 2 or 3 of them, which requires me to do some array manipulation. For that library or for that specific task, I have a library which I will be using, which is load sh, which will be a library for my array manipulation. Guys, does this part make sense to all of you? So I will be adding Axios library, the Bootstrap library, and the load sh library. Guys, we will be doing a lot of code. So while this project is being created, I would like to understand if any one of you is having any doubts. Okay, perfect. If no doubts, which means that we are going good. So I go to my project and I create a new folder over here for the, let it first add the, why it failed, man, that's not good. So I go to the source folder. So now if I go and so it is still creating the project, but you see that some of the files are added. It is basically a test UI, or you can call it in simple terms, a hello world React project is created. Now, why this is being created, let me go to the sources and add a new folder for services. So what is in the service? In the service, I am creating a API to call my my bad, I say news API.js. This is my API, which I will be calling, or which I will be using to call my API. So what I do, I say import. Now I'm already having React, so I say import React from React. Make sense, guys? I was talking about the other libraries which I will be importing as and when I require. Okay. And I will then be importing the Axios library, right? Now, Axios library is not yet created. I have to install that. Okay, I say cd news app, okay. And I say ls, I say npm install Axios. It will just install the package or the library for me, and I will then move ahead. So import Axios from Axios. Since this package is already being installed, this will resolve when this package is installed. And once this is done, I need to also install the load sh, which I will be utilizing to get some sample data. Now there will be two main examples or two main things, which is this one. So first is the get sources. Now what this get sources will do, it will simply say from the Axios library, or call the Axios library to get. What I need to get? I need to first get the sources. So if you guys recall, the sources was already placed over here. I will simply paste this URL and I will move ahead to the next part. So if in case it is called, I then have to, this arrow, it's a way in which function is defined. Basically, I'm saying that this function will give a promise. See, like all these things, like what this function will do, why are we requiring this library? All these are quite, like concepts which comes with a lot of practice. So we are covering moreover hands-on right now. Link to the sources. Guys, don't worry, you will be getting the entire course or the entire project. So with the project, whichever I create, I will be giving you the complete project. Don't worry about that. Now, once this resource is there, I say I am supposed to return. Now, what I need is I need the load sh file. So I say import, underscore from. Now what I do is I say import this from the packages. Make sense? Now 4 sample size. Now what is the sample? So whatever this result will give me, so this is the result. From the result, there is a data which will be there, which will have the sources. So pick up this entire result and give me any 3 random results. Guys, does this part make sense? So this is done, which means, oh, sorry, my bad. Which means if this is done, perfect. Now I am able to do with this. And the next thing is I need to now catch the error. So what I say error, I say console.log error dot. So whatever is the message that comes from the error, I print that to the console and I alert the same to the console. Guys, does this part make sense? This is okay. Why underscore? Basically, underscore is a library which is coming from load.sh. So this is for manipulation. If you guys recall, this sources was having 10 sources, but I need only 3. So I'm just doing a random way to get any 3 samples. So rather than doing this manually, I'm using a library which can do this for me. That's it. Basically, this will create an array of 3 of the sources. Now I create another one, which is for my articles. What is the input of an article? The article will have the source as an input. And what it will do, it will say return Axios dot get. What I get from this one, if you guys remember, I was having the source already there. So the first part is I get these sources. Then I add the source and then I add the API key, something like this. Now, once this is done, I say then. Now, why then? Because I will now be getting some sample articles from here. I say resource. Now, what is in the resource is I say return. Now, I'm supposed to give again a sample size or sample documents. But here the example is res.data.articles, and this is 5. Perfect, guys. Now, I'm not adding a catch over here. Let us make it simpler and quicker. And I say export. Now, what I export the get sources and the get articles. No, it's not random number. Basically, it is like generate some random number. How many numbers? 5. And based on that, from this entire array, get any 5 elements and return them as an array. So random number, if I generate random number, I have to write a logic. Like, okay, this is a random number, like show me 5 now, get all these elements. Don't worry, if time permits, I will explain this in detail also. Guys, is it good? Can I move ahead now? Now, what will a news item look like and what will a news container look like? So if you see, Ravi, all of these will be, I think, emails. They will be also available in your dashboard. Now, let us generate some components. I am creating a simple item which I will be generating. So what this item will look like? So now, what will be there in an item? So if you remember, okay, let me pull this example, or I share my browser to help you understand. So what is in the item? It has a source, the author name, the title, the description, the URL, the image URL, the published date and time. Guys, make sense? Basically, the idea for this one is, yes, you have to. Now, these are all the different articles. So one article, this is one article, second article, third article, and so on and so on. Okay, guys, can I move ahead now? Now, one thing is, this specific date is a previous date, right? What I have to do is, in order to get the difference from this date, I need to install a library or a package. For that, I have a package which is Moment. I say npm install moment. I share my VS Code with you guys so that we get started. Perfect, guys. It is adding the package. So I will say import. What I import the React from and I will import Moment now. What I'm exporting, I am exporting a class or a component. Now, what is a component? It is the granular level guys, give me a second. Guys, you see my code now? Coding now? So this is the moment I have created. If you see over here, and I say the news item, I say this extends component. Now, what is component? It is the smallest level of the UI which we create. Now, this is expected to create, or this is expected to fetch or create a small card. So in the bottom, there is nothing, right? Wait, let me smaller this. Do you see it now? This is the end of the screen, right? We just added a package. I say over here, I am supposed to render. Now, what I render is I return a div. Now, what is inside a div? I'm not getting into the what you say the proper CSS or Bootstrap for right now. I will be adding that part a bit later, but I am creating a image tag. Now, what is the image tag looks like? So the image tag will have a source. So what is the source? Now, source will be something which will come inside the API call. So what is that? This dot props. So whatever are the properties, from that properties, get the item, and from that item, get the URL to image. This was the parameter which I will be using. This will give me the element or my image. If in case there is no image, there could be a possibility that there is no image attached. In that case, I am adding a blank image, or if this is empty, then this. Otherwise, I am creating an empty image for an image not found, basically a thumbnail. Guys, does this part make sense? Now I am supposed to close this, right? So I close this image. This image is done. Now I go over here. Okay, this was supposed to be inside another div, and now I come out over here. Okay, perfect. While okay, let us do, guys, one thing. Let us do it like this. Let me add some CSS. So most of you are quite confused about this entire, like how this project is working. What I'll do is, so we have a MERN stack course coming up. I think I will ask one of my team members to share with you the details. So let me check. Mandar, Bhumika, anyone of you there on the call? If you can help guys understand about the offers, I am finding most of them are confused with what is going on. And while you do that, I will quickly create some CSS and apply the CSS over here. So let me unmute them. Okay, perfect. Now we'll pose that a bit later. So my first div is created, guys. Now what next I do with the next div is I will now create a title. So what is the title? Basically, whatever comes in the news is a title. So I create a H5 tag, which is a link, but I'm skipping the link part right now. And I'm saying this dot props. This dot props dot item dot title. Now on similar lines, so I have got a title, I have got an image. Now on similar lines, I can get the author and the timestamp. So what I do, I get the description. So how I get the description is like this. So this is my image, the image which you see. This is my title. Now so this all will be a part of the card image or the header of the card. Then I will get the card body, right? Now all of these, what I'm talking, the cards and all of that, this is all a part of my Bootstrap library. So I don't need to worry a lot about it, right? So I say this is again a H5. Let me get it a small text. I get this as a small text and I include this dot props dot item dot description. Let me see if I'm getting the correct name. Perfect. I have got the name, and now next thing is I get the author name. So how I get the author name? I say by So what is in the author name? There will be a author name, which will be dot author. Perfect, guys. Now, if in case there is no author, I can apply a filter similar to I did over here, but I'm skipping that part right now. The next thing is I get the time or the date which I have to specify. How I show the date? I will import a moment library. So what is moment? I say import moment from moment. So on the moment side, I say this dot props dot item dot published. Where is the published at? This will give me the time when this was published. And based on this, I want to format this. I format it to the timestamp which I require, which is this. Guys, does this part make sense? So I have created a card or a view for my news. Now on the top of this, so moment is just a library to convert the date into a timestamp. So if you see, the date was coming something like this. Let me pull it to you. So if you see, the date was something like this. It is not possible to always show a date like this. It is not readable, right? So I pass the date into a more human readable format, which is done by moment. Basically to parse the date. Okay. Now, the next thing which I would do is I simply have to fetch, or I simply have to create a component for my news item, which will be showing the entire task. Okay, guys, let us do one thing. Like I am already having this. So this is news item container.js. So we are a bit short of time. So what I'll do is I'll just try to quickly get things in small components and explain them along what I'm doing. I'm getting from the React component load sh. From the services, I am getting the get article. Then from the components, I am getting the news item. Guys, make sense? Now what I create a component. So what is a component, guys? A component is the most basic part, but this component will be a container. And what will it contain? It will contain this news item. Perfect, guys. So initially, I started by assigning it a blank article state. Why blank? Because till now, the application has not called the API. So when will the application call the API? Whenever this application will mount, the API will be called. So I come up over here and I say it is the time to mount the application. And once you mount, you get the articles. So I say get article, it gives me this articles. Again, this is coming random, and then I am setting this to the state. Make sense, guys? I'm doing it so that we have more times to discuss around things rather than just working on the small part of the code. Now, once this is done, so again, this part of the code is nothing but the get articles is an API call, which is giving me the things. Yeah, it's already sampled, but but in application we try to do it like this. Just we want to be double sure about that. What is async? Where do you see async? I think it's in the different part. It's over here. Basically, these requests are asynchronous. The request will not wait for the request to complete and will keep on continuing. Now, what I render over here is I return a div with the source name which is coming. Where is source name coming? Source name will be passed to this container. And then I say map all the articles to the news item. So news item will be called and the item is being passed, which is article. Now you will understand what is this item. If you remember over here, everything was coming up from item. What is this item? So all the articles which I am passing over here are being processed as individual items. Guys, does this part make sense to all of you? Now, I already have my app.js, which is already there. What I need to do is I need to remove the unwanted code of app.js. So over here I go in my app.js, everything is over there. I just have to get the sources first. I will remove this part of the code. Now what I do is, and I also remove the logo. I'm not needing it right now. So what I need right now is I need the item container, which is coming from components. Once I have the container, I start the class. So what is class? So I create a new component, which is, I name it as app. And then I start assigning it some values, like this is the state. So what is state? Here the state are sources. And whenever the component will mount, I am saying it makes sense to pull all these sources. Perfect, guys. Now I pass a render, basically what that render will do. So whatever sources are there, it will create the container for all these sources. So how many sources were there? There were 3 sources. So there will be 3 containers for each, which will be a source and index, which will be mapped. Guys, does this part make sense to all of you? So this shall complete this part of the code. I have to just go to my index.js and see if it is already implemented. Yes, app is already there. And this app points to this part of the code, which is working completely fine. Guys, does this part make sense? Now, what I have to do is I have to simply start the project. So I say npm. Yes, guys, anyone knows what is the command? This is what I left. I didn't explain to you. I will be using start. What will start do? The start will come over here and will will hit this command, React scripts start. So I say npm start, and once it runs, I will go to my browser to run this part for you. Where is the browser, guys? Okay, let me see, localhost 3000, and this is the news React, 3 samples. Each one is having 5 items at most. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there is no one having more than 5 items. So each time you see that this item or this source is also getting refreshed, and even the articles are getting refreshed. This is the purpose of having the sources come up like this. Now, someone asked about async calls. You go to network, you find that all of these APIs are coming, right? So I'm getting the source 1, then I'm getting the headlines 1, 2, 3. So all of these are asynchronous requests. Guys, does this part make sense to all of you? A very simple and a very, very lucid example to understand the concept of APIs, calling APIs in React, and how do we actually use this. Anyone having any questions? I would like to take those or discuss those. Okay, let me, guys, I will jump onto the code for you guys to look at it. Where is the code? This is my code. Yes, Axios is not an Ajax request. Axios is how you make an Ajax request, basically. Okay, for all those who want to see the service file, this is my service file. See, the rest, the UI files are fine. Have a look at how service were there. Yes, you can use fetch. There are multiple libraries which are there and you can use any of those. I use Axios because it is very popular. And in many of the projects, you will find people are using Axios. For the sake of popularity and ease, I use Axios. That's it. Serving. So this is the dynamic URL, right? This URL is created dynamically depending on the source. You can use variables or objects to create URL which can be used. We can use fetch. I'm not saying you can't. You can use anything, guys. It just Axios is a bit more popular and is a bit easier to use from people who are starting to create people. That's why. Yeah, okay, so in that way, yeah. So this was my next part of the project, but we have limited time, and considering that, I was not able to cover this. But what you can do is you can work on this, like whenever user clicks on any of these sources, the headline page can be shown on that source page. That can be a good homework for you to work over it. No, there are no advantages. It's just, so if you use things like window.fetch, so you have to have a lot of code, like it has to be an Ajax request, you have to handle the promises. Those parts are taken care by the Axios library on its own. That's it. So if you see, you go to npm.js. So it's like Axios is not one, there are multiple of these libraries. So like Axios, there are basically just a way to handle the request is it. So like we have super agent, we have multiple solutions for this. It's not only one. Okay. So guys, any further questions anyone is having for me right now? Okay, perfect. So if no questions, I think, okay. How about this? I think right now, considering the time limit, I'm not very sure we will be able to do that. You can let me know the question in detail. I'll try to answer that. And in the meantime, while I'm working on this, yeah. Okay. So basically, just to put things in perspective of what you are saying. So the major aim of using class-based components, is it has a very good life cycle. Like all these sources part which I'm doing is available with us. The function-based components restrict this usage. So that is why, and with that, we have to use hooks. So with hooks, it is quite similar, but yes, the application or the component lifecycle is the one which is there. Yeah, that is correct. But it's easier from the person who's getting started with the hooks. They are trying to implement this for the lifecycle. That's correct. Yeah. Okay, perfect, guys. So can I use movie API? Yeah, you can use movie API in this project. So you want to use React or you want to use .NET APIs? Either ways, you can use both of these. No, I think TypeScript is not a part of this course. This is more, don't worry, we will be covering what all will be covered in the course. I'll hand over it to the team to take it forward on this, on what all topics are planned to be covered.
Hello, am I audible to everyone? You can just type yes in chat box if I'm audible.
Yeah, you were audible. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So we'll be starting with the section, what all things you'll be learning and what is it about. So building application using News API in React. So now I'll be explaining you the offers which we are having for you all. So why you have to go for this MERN-Stack E-Degree program is, it will be a 22 days of session with 40 plus hours of live training, and it's exclusively only for 50 seats. So there will be live question answering, there will be 24/7 hours of assistance will be provided, career guidance sessions will be there, then mentorship will be provided, quizzes and MCQs, everything will be resolved on your pace. Then the next slide is where we are explaining about the MERN-Stack E-Degree, what all things you will be learning once you buy the course. There will be HTML and CSS, JavaScript, React.js, Node.js, Express.js, MongoDB, MERN app development, Mongoose, Heroku, Robo3D. So these all are in demand by the industry. So if we are talking about the industry, let's go to the industry projects which we will be learning in the course. So Instagram double click action, COVID vaccine slot booking system, CRUD application, database schema, book collection, and etc. So here is the offer. Basically, this course was like available for $150 and we are reducing the price. Basically, we are giving you the offer in $99. If you want to avail this MERN-Stack E-Degree course, you will have to pay $99. And with that, you have to use the code that is WEBLMRN. I'll be putting this code in the chat box for you all. If you purchase this product, that is the MERN-Stack E-Degree course, you will also be getting one more offer. And in this offer, you will be getting to learn about MERN-Stack E-Degree, and it's for free. So if you want this, if you want to buy this course, it's available for next 2 hours with all the both offers. So I'm just putting the code in the chat box, and I want you all to have a look in it. Hello? It's MERN-Stack E-Degree course. So here is the offer link and the coupon code, which you have to use to get yourself registered.
Basically, so like just to add two things. So one is the live training which you will be doing, and along with the live training, if you buy this course right now, there is a pre-recorded E-Degree course which comes up. So like whatever we are teaching, so you can watch that pre-attending the session, and then it will give you more idea of what things are to be taken care. So that course is added as a complimentary course when you buy this MERN-Stack live training session. Am I correct, Siddhi?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Right. So for this, you have to buy this course. And with that course, you'll be getting one more course, that is Munstack e-degree, for free. And this offer is only available for next 2 hours. So those all who are interested, I don't think you should miss a chance, and hurriedly you should register for this. Also, I'm sharing a feedback link in the chat box. Kindly fill that. Is there any question regarding the course or regarding the offers?
So just to take this question. Okay, yeah. Some of you are asking what is the where we deploy the application. It really depends, like we have multiple projects. Some projects we deploy on Roku, some projects we deploy on Firebase. So all of these will be covered as a part of the project. And from the, okay, one of you asked this question about WebSocket. Yes, that will be a part, the HTML WebSocket area will be covered. And what next? Okay, another thing is, yeah. So guys, make sure you fill the feedback. We at Avionics take feedbacks very seriously. So if you fill those feedbacks, it helps us to improve our further offerings. You can come up with feedbacks like, what are things you liked about the session, how we can make this session more interactive and more helpful. It will be really great for you guys. Okay. So that is all.
Thank you so much, sir.
Yeah, on the middleware side, so if you talk about middleware, yeah, so Redux
Yes, sir, you can.
Redux will be there as a part of the course. I think you've already seen it in the PPT. But see, think like this, when you're talking about middleware, what is the middleware? Where we deploy the application, right? So if you're talking about something else, that's different. But generally, like the Express middleware framework is what we'll be using a lot, which is based on the Node.js. Okay. No. Okay, guys. So that is all from my side, guys. Thank you for taking out time from your schedule and attending this course. I would recommend you to fill the feedback and have a look at our online session and see if it adds value to you. And that is all from my side.
Thank you so much, all. Thank you so much, all. And thank you for the patience you have maintained during the session. And if there are any doubts or anything, you can just put it into the feedback form. We'll look into that. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bhumi. Thank you, Siddhi. Have a great day.